diagnose. Now, when you look at the environmental sources, all these are the factors. Now, sugar is so dear. Even though some of the diabetic patients are not supposed to take the sugar, they try to go for alternative to sweeteners. And most of the sweeteners are chemicals, and they are also causing cancers. Then you have the X-rays, you have the bottled water. Keep in mind, don't always carry your bottle in a car or exposed to the hot climate, because the bottle we are using is PET. When you are putting water for a long time, when it is exposed to the sunlight, you are releasing what you call bisphenols. And this bisphenol is a carcinogen. So when you are putting the water in, always we wash the bottle, put it, and then put it in the fridge, using the same bottle for a year or 2 years. In the process now, we are releasing a lot of chemicals which are carcinogenic. Then you have the multiple partnership in the sex. There is also another thing. HIV/AIDS has already scared us, but still people have not learned their lessons. Then coffee has a dual purpose. Many Nigerians, some of my friends, they say, oh, coffee is not good, don't bother. But when you look at that, coffee is, in one way it is good. In small quantities it is good. But when you exceed that, it is not so good. Same way with the tea and other things. Actually, we don't need, really speaking, we don't need all these. But sometimes when you want to freshen up your mood, or when you want to be more alert, you try to take some of these and take it judiciously. Never overtake. Americans, they take coffee every minute, every hour. You go to any American office, there is a boiling coffee always there. They pour it and give you a big mug, not even small cups. You can see that even though it is good in small quantities, you should not overdo it. Then we have the deodorants and antiperspirants. You spray air fresheners. Air fresheners. What is air freshener? It has a lot of chemicals. When you release it, it will all spreading around. Where do they go? They are going into the air. Again, they are falling on the surfaces. You are touching it, you are licking it, you are eating it. Again, that is where washing of hands is very important, and our friends are promoting that even to prevent COVID. So that is where all these are the factors in complicating the cancers and then paints. We have done quite a lot of work in Nigeria. Some of the paints, particularly you look for cheaper paint. When you look for cheaper paints, invariably you go for the lead oxide. Lead is a poison, is a toxin. Then lead can also lead to cancers. You can see all these different colors. Anytime you find color is metal. The metals are carcinogenic. Then high tension cables. Sometimes when you want to buy the site to build your own house, government will tell you, oh, we have a site very cheap, you can go and buy it. And when you go there, they're all under the high tension wires. And that means you buy the house there, or you buy and build your house there, and every day these high tension wires are releasing radiation which are going and affecting you. But many people, it is already proven, people who are living in the areas where there is high tension wiring, they suffer from more cancers all over the world. So that is where you have to be choosy, you have to be careful. In fact, you get the sites or the houses very cheap, but don't be tempted by that because you cannot live to enjoy that. Then we have the air pollution, and air pollution again, when you see the picture of this one, you find fog, smog. This was a very serious problem many decades ago in Britain, in Europe, in Belgium, in US in some parts. It is a big problem because the moment you wake up in the morning, everywhere is foggy. That fog is smog. Smog means smoke plus fog is smog. You are cooking your food. You are using firewood, you are using charcoal, you are using many things where the smoke will be coming out. The smoke will join this fog and that becomes smog. And smog is linked with lung problems and cancers. So these are all, that is where you find in these what you call VOCs, volatile organic compounds. In fact, the present day technologies were releasing more and more of volatile organic chemicals or compounds. Now, another thing also I have seen that second-hand goods. A lot of many people, but I don't want to name many of them. You go to your office, you go to your workplace, you find a lot of them, they buy second-hand trousers, second-hand shirt, second-hand cap, second-hand sweaters. All these are, where are they coming from? In fact, a friend of mine, sometime back, I was in Sweden, then he was telling me there was a big opposition in Sweden and some of the European countries. Whatever they don't like, they're throwing away, and those things are ending up in the developing countries. So there was a few NGOs who are trying to tell them, don't send these used goods to developing countries. There is a big movement, but still they're finding their way. You go to Lagos, about practically every town, every city, there is a second-hand market. You can buy anything you want. Particularly, I'm talking about all these what you are seeing in the picture, your dress, all these kind of things. So they are releasing more of carcinogenic compounds, and it is not advisable. In fact, most of the poisonous toxins or chemicals are mercury, lead, and cadmium. In fact, mercury is going to be out from the planet very soon. Cadmium will also go out. Earlier days we were using NiCad batteries, all the rechargeable batteries. You don't find it now because you have the nickel hydrogen batteries or lithium hydrogen batteries, but no more cadmium. Lead. Now WHO is now focusing on lead. Lead is everywhere. In the early days, Nigerian petrol used to have lead. But a few years ago, all the African countries came together. They decided that we should never use lead again in the petrol. So ultimately, UNEP has declared that Nigeria is free from lead in the petrol. That was only for a few years. But today again, when you go and look there, when you are importing the petrol from other countries, they have no regulations. They export it to Nigeria. So your Nigerian petrol also has the lead now. Even though we have faithfully removed the lead, but we are still getting back in the form of imported petrol. So you can see that, these are some of the facts. Then we have a variety of hazardous chemicals. Thanks to Nesria, since the time of Benebo and other colleagues and the present people, they're relentlessly going around looking for these different types of hazardous chemicals. There is no land available for Europe. In any country in Europe, there are no place. So they try to look around where I can take my waste and then dump it. So they found that Africa and Asia, they are the only two continents they found very easy. So the man from Italy, he came to Nana. Like that you can see that every day shiploads are coming. And even though Nesria is active, they are trying, but still they cannot control. That is where the Greenpeace is playing a very important role. Greenpeace, they are monitoring which ship is going, where to where, and what kind of chemicals they are carrying, how do they dump all these. So Greenpeace is again another agency, private, which is helping us a lot in monitoring and telling us what is right or what is not all right. And some time back we also made a study of the Ogun River, Abeokuta down to sea. A PhD worked on that. And when you look at the different locations where the river is polluted, practically is polluted grossly. River Ogun, when you start from Abeokuta down to the Atlantic Ocean, every area you find pollution. Same problem you are finding with River Niger, River Benue, River Ocean, River Ogun. All types of rivers now, they are getting all the pollutants coming from human activities. And knowingly and unknowingly, we are dumping everything to water. If you are living on the bank of a river, you are tempted to put all your garbage into the river, which is banned. According to Nesria regulations, we are not supposed to put anything in that, and yet we do it. So these are some of the things you can see that at every level now we analyze the samples, and a lady got her PhD on this, and you can see that there are chemicals everywhere, and some of them are carcinogenic. Now when you look at the Niger Delta, I was there for 4 years at Niger Delta University, Wilberforce Island. Every morning I see flares. Every morning when I drive down, I will see this kind of scenario. All the trees there, you can't see the leaves. All the palm leaves and all those, they die. They cannot survive again. And look at the ground, the soil, the water, the tidal things. And you can see that all these are oil. When you say petroleum oil, petroleum, what does it contain? It has petroleum hydrocarbons. And every petroleum hydrocarbon is carcinogenic. Talk about benzene, toluene, all types of things, about 10 or 20 of them. All these are carcinogenic. Now look at our own boys who are at the petrol stations. They wash their hands with petrol. They eat the food, again wash with that. Sometimes they suck the petrol and they are swallowing a part of it. So you can imagine that this is where again a very serious pollution is coming, and in fact they are justified in complaining that they are exposed to pollution to a great extent. Even though this Ogoni cleanup, I was involved with them, with some companies, but they are not doing much. They are only lip service. I think that is where again we need to realize there is a lot of gap between what is reality and what we are trying to promise. Now you can see that human exposure can come from all these kind of exposures. Quite a lot of them. Don't worry, I'll finish. Then of course, as I said already, the communicable or infectious diseases can lead to cancers. Infectious diseases or communicable diseases lead to non-communicable. And there is a mechanism for that. You can see that all these are possible, they shift. So over a period of time, if you are getting constantly malaria, constantly diarrhea, constantly pneumonia like that, ultimately you never know that you can be ending up in cancers. Now, another emerging water quality problems we are facing nowadays, as I said already, hormones, drugs. You are eating a load of drugs for malaria, for diarrhea, all types of things. No doctor will give you only 1 or 2 drugs. He will give you about 10 drugs. And when you take all of them, body cannot take all of them. Only a trace of it will go to the target in curing the disease. Remaining things are going to the liver, going to the kidneys, going out and that's getting into the waters. So we are getting back all these things. That is our problem. So when you catch the fish, many people eat fish, which is good, but at the same time also look at the fish quality. Fish accumulate a lot of heavy metals. All the heavy metals we are talking about, fish contain. That is why you should know where you are collecting your fish and how you are processing it and how you are eating it. By cooking alone, you cannot remove any of the carcinogens. It will not. So you have to be choosy. Now another common thing, our women, they are preparing food with firewood or charcoal. They are exposed to this smoke. We have studied about 25 cases in Ibarapa. We took x-rays. Out of 24 or 25 we examined, 4 of them, they had some kind of problems of the lung. They didn't know that. So then this kind of roasting. You roast plantain, you roast the yam, you roast many things, and the roasting alone, it is causing what you get polyaromatic hydrocarbons, PAH. Anything you are roasting, the organic material is converted to PAH, and the PAH is carcinogenic. So imagine that some of these things, even though they are tasty and good, be choosy, don't take always. Sometimes it's okay for a change, but not overdo it. Then go to your hairdressers. Hairdressers, they use a lot of chemicals. Every day the chemical dyes, conditioners. All these are loaded with chemicals which are not properly recognized or identified. So then you have the workplaces, every occupation has hazard. Every occupation, including carpenter, welder, barber, practically any occupation, there is no occupation without a hazard or without a risk. And most of these are ultimately leading to cancer. It may not be immediate. That is why you find that some of the life expectancy of some of these people, it varies. Look at also your grandmother, grandfather, great-grandfather, they lived longer than present day generation. Sometimes you hear suddenly, so-and-so has died at the age of 50, 60, 70. All this what is happening because you have no control. All these are coming from environment. Now you can see that all these activities, next one please. Who is showing the slide? No, you are far behind. Show the slide. Next. 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 So look at the list. All these activities we are doing every day, they are leading to carcinogenic compounds. Next, please. Then most toxic pollutants, you can see these volatile organic compounds. Everywhere you find petrol is common, kerosene is common, alcohol-based compound. Even your sanitizers, be careful. Not all sanitizers are safe. And you have the pesticides, quite a variety. After all, a farmer wants more crop, more money, but you have to be worried about what we are using. In fact, luckily for us, Nigeria has banned about 12 chemicals. DDT is banned. Many pesticides are banned. They are called the dirty dozen. They are all banned by Nigeria. But still some other countries, neighboring countries, they are getting them. So suppose you are importing food from those countries, they can come here. So these are some of the indirect way you are getting some of these. Then the air pollutants, particulate matter, 2.5, 5 and 10, they are very, very dangerous. Then you have the hazardous substances, like fumes, smoke, liquids, etc. These are the most dangerous. You should never allow them to be used or be in contact with them. Then I said before, electronic waste. Everything has money in this. Your laptop, your computer on the desktop. You can see that this man is faithfully collecting all these. Next one. Next one, please. Look at that. Every component in the desktop computer has so many elements, metallic, heavy metals, which are toxic. And these people, what do? They collect all the e-waste, go to in Ibadan, Ekotado. In Lagos, there are so many areas. They collect everything, they burn it. When they burn it, they want to remove the metal and then make money. In the process, you are throwing everything into the air as air pollution. And at the end of the day, all the children who are exposed to that, they suffer from this kind of. We never know how long they will be living. There is a need for such kind of studies. When they are doing this kind of low-level jobs, then you have so many compounds you are getting for your car. Use this chemical, this spray, that spray, practically everything. Then this is where the boys are swallowing or sucking the petrol from the car. Then cigarette is another thing. Cigarette is one of the wonderful materials which man has discovered. God created tobacco for a different purpose. But man created cigarette for his own pleasure. It's not pleasure, but you can see that 599 additives are used in making one cigarette. And it consists of 4,000 compounds. And what happens to them? You can see that. Every part of the cigarette, next one please. Next one please. Next one. No. Okay. Yeah. No, you have gone far ahead. Okay. Every stick of the cigarette, here there is some chemical, here there is some chemical, here there is some chemical. Now go back to the cigarette. So, who is showing the slides? Show the cigarette. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Every part of the cigarette has a particular chemical. If you go to British American Tobacco Company, they will not allow you to go inside because you will know most of the problems they are creating. So you can see that. Then you can see the lungs when you are, no, please show the cigarette. Look at the lung. On the left side you find normal lung, on the right side you find the cigarette smoke and lung. And you can see the movement of the cigarette smoke, it is going inside the lung. In fact, the technology we have today is so wonderful. They could take the photograph of how the smoke goes inside the lung. You can see that bottom one. So you see that this is where. Then we are also burning the waste. I know all our Ministry of Environment, they don't want us to burn the waste. And yet we burn. not only we burn, but also even the ministry people, they are also burning. They think that is easier way of getting rid of all the waste. Then when you are incinerating or burning it, these are the two chemicals you are getting. Please, who is showing the slides? Move fast. Next two. These are the two chemicals, dioxin and furan. These are proven to be highly carcinogenic. No doubt about it. So when you are burning your bush, or you are burning your garbage, or you are burning even plantain and some of the eatables, all the things are converted to this, there is a problem. Next. Okay, dioxins and furans are known to cause cancer. There is no doubt about it, it's proven everywhere. Next, please. Next, who is showing this slide? Please look at my signal. Oh, yeah. You see the next one. No. Next. No, I think he has gone here. Okay, don't worry. All the chemicals, they have targets. When we are taking in all the chemicals, either by exposure or ingestion or by contact, there is a picture. I want you to show the picture of a man. Picture of a man. Okay, look at this. See, our human body is very complex, and yet the chemicals find their way. One will go to liver, one will go to kidney, one will go to brain. You can see that this is very, very alarming. We don't imagine that when we are eating food, we think that we are eating through the mouth and throwing away in the fecal. But ultimately, if you go straight away from the mouth to the gut, gut to the blood, blood to the tissue, tissue to the target organ. So this is very, very damaging, and we should know the science of food, what we are eating and where it goes. Next, please. Then we have statistics and records. Rate of cancer. What is the importance of this? If we don't have figures, we have no future. If we know why this is causing, what it is causing, how much amounts are present, that is where the cancers and the statistics are very, very important for us. And unfortunately, in Nigerian statistics, we don't have up to date. You go to search online. Sometimes you go to a particular paper or something, they say information not sufficient, information not updated, or the information may be 2012. So you can see that. Whereas CDC, WHO, and a few agencies in US, they are keeping some of the records update. Suppose you are now talking about COVID, every second the figure changes. You look at, you put on your online, the figure will change in the next 1 minute. So that's how the data should be available, and that data is what we need to use. There are 11 registries in Nigeria today. These 11 registries, they record the number of cases of cancer. One is in Ibadan, one is in Abuja, one is in Port Harcourt, like that 11. But unfortunately, the data they are getting is from the hospitals. That is not what we want. What we want is data should come from communities. That is why all the researchers don't be tempted by doing easily by going to hospital and collecting it. But what you should do is go to the communities, study what they are eating, what they are inhaling, what kind of exposures they have. Collect your data. That data is more valuable. Because that is what we need to encourage more and more in the university system. Then we have the emerging views on cancer. Of course, we have a lot of emerging views. Next one. Of course, we already talked about most of these things. Then when we talk about the cancer cure, these are the three terminologies we are using: cure, cure, and remission. Cure, don't use the word, because we have no cure. All cancers, we have no cure. What you see is he's under treatment. Until his death, you say he's under treatment. So practically cure is not available. However, once his symptoms are subsided, then you say yes, he's cured. But don't say that he's cured. His curing is not permanent. It can remiss. Remiss means after some time it can recover again. So these are the problems with cancer. It's not like diarrhea or some other types of diseases. There is a cure, and remission. You have to use them very carefully. Then, how do you control? How do you mitigate the effects of this? Always control, you check your weight. If you are unusually increasing your weight, check. Reduce your eating, you follow your habits, develop. Exercise is very, very vital. You have to go for walking, or running, or jogging, or go to gymnasium. Then eat more vegetables than meats. There are many European countries and Japan and other countries, there are more and more people are avoiding the meat. Particularly red meat is going out. Fish people are preferring now. Chicken is also going down. Because the way they are rearing the animals, the way they are bringing out tremendous amount of chemicals going into their feeds, and the chemicals are converted to what we are eating today, and so remove that. Then get vaccinated wherever the vaccines are available. In fact, most of the developments in the present century came through vaccination. Most of the at least 4 or 5 diseases were able to control. No smallpox, no polio very soon. This kind of things can happen once vaccination is encouraged. Then exercise, quit smoking, don't